Welcome to OJ Studios. I hope you enjoy Punishment by Olivia Julius. Chapter 13 Out to Eat. After an hour of the adults being gone, they finally came back inside and announced that we were headed to CJ's Steakhouse. As soon as they said that, my mouth started to water. Going to CJ's Steakhouse was one of the best things about coming here. Just give me a minute to get ready, Rebecca said as she ran upstairs to her room. I looked over to Mom expecting her to make me wear something more girlish, but instead Mom was over by her two sisters talking. I tried to put out the idea that was in my head out of my mind. But somehow, I could not. It was a promise I made to myself back in the store to be more girly so I can beat Rhea and Emily. I sucked in a deep breath and walked over to Mom and got her attention. "What is it, sweetie?" Mom asked, guiding me away from the other ladies. "Do you mind if..." I stopped for a second and looked back at the ladies and made sure they were not paying attention to Mom and me. "Do you mind you what?" Mom asked, looking down at me. "Do you mind if I wear a dress to dinner?" I asked before I could stop myself. Mom looked at me and then back to the group of ladies. "You do know that wearing a dress tonight won't excuse you from getting off your punishment early, right?" "I know," I said, even though a small part of me hoped it would. "Rebecca washed the clothes that you wore during the past few days. They're up in the guest room. How about if you go upstairs and pick one out?" Mom said. I nodded my head and walked upstairs to the guest bedroom, where I found a laundry basket halfway filled with the girls' clothes that I had been wearing for the last few days. I took off the clothes I was wearing and dug through the clothes in the laundry basket and found the black dress I had worn on Thursday. I grabbed it and put it on without a second thought. It kind of amazed me that last time I was wearing this I was kicking and screaming at Mom to take it off me. Now I am totally comfortable in it. Honestly miss the open feeling that the dress gave me when it sways around my legs. I wish boys could wear them. I saw the tights I wore when I got to Aunt George's house, and I thought about wearing them, but then I decided not to. I knew that Mom was probably downstairs right now thinking this is a win, but I did not care. I needed to beat Rhea and Emily. I put the heels back onto my feet even though they were racing by this point. I tried to zip up the dress, but I could not reach the zipper, plus I did not know how to tie the sash. I decided to open the door and call out to Mom for help. I walked to the door and stopped. I started to have second thoughts about doing this. What was Ethan going to say when he saw that I was wearing a dress? Was he going to make stupid comments about me? Was this the end of our friendship? I sighed and turned the doorknob. He was going to see me in a dress tomorrow no matter what, so I might as well get it over with. I opened the door just as Ethan walked by from the bathroom. I looked at me in shock and I did the same. I held the unzipped dress over me, keeping it from falling like it did in Carrie shop. I felt like ducking back into the room and ripping the dress off and throwing it on the bed. But I could not move. I was scared too. I could not tell by Ethan's reaction if he was mad or not. I started to back up and close the door, but Ethan stopped the door from closing. I looked down and kept backing up. But Ethan stopped me. "You look great," he said, putting his hand on my shoulder. "Don't worry, I won't make fun of you." I did not know how I could trust him, but somehow, I knew. "What do you think?" I asked shyly. Ethan looked me up and down. "Not bad," he spoke. "Did your mom make you wear a dress for dinner tonight?" "No," I admitted. "It was my idea to wear a dress to dinner." "Well, you're lucky," Ethan said. "Mom just told me to come up here to put on my stupid sweater that she got me just for tonight," Ethan said, going around me to grab his suitcase. "Trust me, I'm jealous. I would give anything to wear a short-sleeve dress instead of a heavy long-sleeve sweater." "Then you can have it," I said jokingly. Ethan looked at me and grinned. "Nah, it's your punishment, not mine," he said as he started rummaging through his bag. He grabbed his sweater and walked out of the room, only stopping for a second. "Besides, I would look very good in one since I have a buzz chew tee," he said, pointing up to his head. I laughed a little, thinking about him wearing a dress. Ethan came from behind me and took the two parts of the unzipped dress. I forgot it was still unzipped. "Here, figured you needed help," he spoke. "No problem," Ethan said, shrugging. "My mom a few times has me help her zip her dress up or tie a sash occasionally. Honestly, I do not get why girls wear clothing that requires two people to help them wear it. It makes them look cute," I said, shrugging before walking out of the room as Ethan stayed in the room to change. CJ's Steakhouse was in a part of town that tourists never visit. The small restaurant was located off Main Street, and unless you were looking for a simple storefront design, most likely you would overlook this small town gem. Our large group went into the main entrance and waited until the restaurant staff were able to push a few tables together. We were led to a large table in a side room. I looked around as we walked. A few days ago, I would have been terrified to be wearing the dress in front of them, but now wearing a dress almost seemed natural for me. The adults sat on one end of the table while us kids sat on the other. I sat next to Ethan and Rebecca and looked down at the menu that was put in front of me. "And what would you like to drink, ma'am?" I heard the waiter ask, but it was only until Ethan elbowed me before I noticed he was talking to me. "Dr. Pepper," I said softly. The waiter nodded his head and walked off to collect our drinks. "Still not used to the new pronouns?" Ethan whispered, only loud enough for me to hear. I shook my head no and hoped that I would never get used to being called ma'am.